Welcome to MMA Unleashed. Your fight news, drama, and highlights unleashed. UFC 320 delivers highly anticipated matchups. The upcoming UFC 320 event in Qatar is shaping up to be a must-watch for MMA fans, with a stacked lineup of thrilling fights. In the main event, rising star Arman Tsarukyan will face the always dangerous Dan Hooker in a clash of two fighters looking to take the next step towards title contention. The co-main event features a welterweight showdown between the former champion Belal Muhammad and the surging Irish prospect Ian Garry, who is confident he will make Belal look like an amateur. But the most intriguing storyline heading into UFC 320 is a highly anticipated rematch between Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. Pereira, the former kickboxing champion, is seeking to avenge his previous loss to Ankalaev and cement his status as a true MMA elite. However, as Robert Whitaker explains, Pereira faces a tough challenge in trying to overcome Ankalaev's well-rounded game and pressure-heavy style. Pereira looks to bounce back against Ankalaev. In their first meeting, Ankalaev was able to neutralize Pereira's dangerous striking by constantly threatening with takedowns and forcing the Brazilian to fight defensively. Whitaker believes that for Pereira to turn the tables, he needs to be the aggressor and hunt down Ankalaev, rather than allowing the Dagestani fighter to dictate the pace and rhythm of the fight. However, as Whitaker points out, this strategy comes with its own risks. By pressing forward and committing to his strikes, Pereira may leave himself open to Ankalaev's grappling attacks, which could ultimately be his undoing. Gilbert Burns echoes this sentiment, suggesting that Pereira may not have been 100% in their first fight, which could have contributed to his inability to find success against Ankalaev's wrestling-heavy approach. Pereira, for his part, has dismissed the notion that he was anything less than fully prepared for their initial encounter. In an interview, he argued that being matched up against the worst guy in the UFC would still present a challenge, given the high level of competition in the organization. Pereira's confidence in his abilities is unshakable.
The matchups were quite favourable to him up until this point. I think the threat that Ankalaev brings in, him being a southpaw, him controlling the range really well, and him just with the threat of the takedowns, even in the first fight we didn't really see him really go for the takedowns too much, but I think just the threat being there, I think stylistically he's a bad matchup for Pereira, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again.
Ankalaev, and the result kind of proved he was a bad matchup for you. I'm just curious if you think that is fair or an unfair analysis, and just your response, Tom.
Não, a gente tá falando.
Yeah, you know, we're talking about the biggest organization in the world. I'm a guy who comes from kickboxing. I had no grappling experience, literal experience in MMA, and we're talking about the highest level of the sport. So if you were to put the worst guy in the UFC against me, I would be at a disadvantage. So
Sandhagen looks to dethrone Dvalishvili. Another highly anticipated matchup on the UFC 320 card is the bantamweight title fight between champion Merab Dvalishvili and challenger Corey Sandhagen. Dvalishvili, known for his relentless pace and exceptional cardio, has been on a tear in the division, racking up impressive wins over the likes of Marlon Moraes and Petr Yan. Khalil Rountree, who has trained alongside Dvalishvili, marvels at the Georgian's seemingly limitless energy, noting that he can maintain a high-intensity training regimen day after day without showing signs of fatigue. I'm like, I just watched you do 6 rounds yesterday. How the hell are you here doing 6 more the next day and still able to go out and do everything that he does? So, the guy's a massive ball of energy. It's pretty inspiring to be around, honestly, because there's just not many that are like Merab. However, Sandhagen is no slouch himself, and many believe he has the technical striking and versatility to pose a serious threat to Dvalishvili's reign. Both Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo have predicted that Sandhagen will pull off the upset, with Cejudo in particular highlighting the American's ability to hit him with big strikes and his proven durability. If Sandhagen can maintain his composure, avoid getting overwhelmed by Dvalishvili's relentless pressure, and capitalize on his technical striking advantage, he may very well be crowned the new UFC bantamweight champion at UFC 320.
It can ignite a support for the people.
Is this a done deal?
As we need.
Is this a done deal? You're in?
Done deal, signed, delivered. It ain't a negotiation.
Wow.
It's a done deal, signed, delivered. McGregor will compete in the White House for UFC's 200, for the America's 250th
Did you talk to Dana about it? Dana's got to sign off, I would imagine, no?
Me and Dana are in constant communications. We've done incredible business together. I'm the highest generating fighter of all time in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They've just signed a breathtaking deal with Paramount where we go to cable TV, $7.7 billion that deal was approved for, and ready to rock, baby. Bring in the big dog, the man.
Rampage Jackson rips bully Wanderlei Silva. In the lead-up to UFC 320, one of the more surprising storylines to emerge was the ongoing feud between former UFC fighters Rampage Jackson and Wanderlei Silva. Rampage took to social media to unleash a scathing critique of Silva, accusing him of being a bully and justifying his recent knockout loss in an exhibition boxing match. I don't give a Van was being a bully in that fight, and we all the whole MMA world know Wanderlei is a mother bully. He was head-butting that guy that right. So I don't give a what y'all think about me. One thing about me, I don't like bullies. The bad blood between these two MMA legends dates back to their days competing in Pride, where they engaged in a legendary rivalry that included two memorable fights. Rampage's comments suggest that his disdain for Silva's perceived bullying tactics has not diminished over the years, and he is clearly not willing to let the past transgressions go unaddressed. This feud is a reminder of the intense rivalries that can develop in the world of MMA, where personal animosity and a desire for retribution can often overshadow the sport itself. While it remains to be seen if Rampage and Silva will ever bury the hatchet, their ongoing war of words has certainly added an extra layer of intrigue to the lead-up to UFC 320.
Khalil is, I saw him right after my last fight in January here in Vegas, PI. We met in the sauna, so I saw him, not naked. no. It sounds weird. I saw him in sauna, but no, we met there, and I said myself, man, this man can be my next opponent. And that sounds, his style, his spirit, his everything, how he's doing that. He's a normal guy, humble, respectful. So I believe this can be a great fight. So whatever happened, and now we are here. Khalil is here, so I'm looking forward to show my best. And he's especially that guy who where I really want to show my dominance, my style, and that I make.
Cormier seeks truce with Pereira. In another interesting subplot, former UFC champion Daniel Cormier encountered Alex Pereira at a recent event and attempted to broker a truce between the two. Cormier, known for his playful banter and occasional jabs at fighters, had previously poked fun at Pereira for a viral video that showed the Brazilian stumbling during a press conference. However, in their recent interaction, Cormier seemed to have a change of heart, acknowledging that his previous jokes may have been in poor taste. Pereira, for his part, appeared to accept Cormier's olive branch, with the two seemingly putting their differences aside and moving forward in a more amicable manner. This exchange highlights the complex relationships that can develop between fighters and media personalities in the MMA world. While the competitive nature of the sport often breeds animosity, there is also a mutual respect and understanding that can emerge, even between those who have engaged in verbal sparring in the past. As Pereira prepares to face Ankalaev at UFC 320, the reconciliation with Cormier may serve as a reminder that, despite the high stakes and intense rivalries, there is room for sportsmanship and camaraderie within the MMA community. Pyfer looks to climb the ranks at UFC 320. Another fighter with a lot to prove at UFC 320 is Joe Pyfer, who will be taking on the dangerous Abuz Magmadov. In a recent interview, Pyfer acknowledged that he is not yet where he wants to be in his MMA career, but he is determined to use this opportunity to position himself for a top 15 matchup in the future. I'm at the bottom. Definitely not anywhere near where I want to be. And, part of it has been because of injury, and a part of it is just, not rushing my career and trying to develop and get better and get better. So I don't have performances that are boring and, I could compete against the top guys. Pyfer recognizes the depth of talent in the UFC's middleweight division, with many rising stars and established veterans vying for a spot in the rankings. However, he believes that a strong performance against Magomedov, potentially even a first-round knockout, could be the catalyst he needs to break into the top 15 and start making a name for himself in the organization. With a mix of humility and determination, Pyfer is approaching this fight as an opportunity to showcase his growth and prove that he belongs among the elite middleweights in the UFC. A victory at UFC 320 could be the first step in Pyfer's journey towards realizing his full potential in the octagon.
The more that I look into this fight, the more that I try to pave a path of victory for Pereira in my head. How does he beat Ankalaev? The less certain I am of him being able to do it. What would Pereira need to do to have turned around their first fight? He needs to move forward, be less hesitant. I feel like he wasn't leading the dance. Pereira doesn't fight as well going backward as he does going forward. Okay. Yeah. What made him so dangerous to the guys he knocked out consecutively was the fact that he was just hunting them the whole time. So Ankalaev was putting pressure on him, giving him different looks, attempting to take down, whether he was actually seriously going for it or not, but he was making Pereira work, okay? He was creating different looks for him to make him hesitant, not be on the front foot. Pereira's best rounds were later in the fight, okay? I think when he got over that. Like I said, I just find it hard to see where he goes, because what does Pereira need to do? He needs to go forward, he needs to be the hunter, the aggressor, needs to get behind his punches, believe in that to try and land those hits, to start those impact shots to change the pace of the fight so that he can lead the dance and start picking him apart. But if he does that, maybe Ankalaev doesn't just attempt 11 takedowns, maybe one of them land. I wonder, is moving forward, is being more aggressive with his punches, getting behind his punches, is that the right decision? Because maybe Ankalaev does go under him this time, does take him down. It's tricky. I find it's going to be a hard fight. It's going to be a very hard.
UFC 320. A card packed with intriguing storylines. As the anticipation builds for UFC 320, the event promises to deliver a thrilling night of action, with a diverse array of compelling narratives unfolding across the card. From Pereira's quest for redemption against Ankalaev to Sandagen's bid to dethrone the relentless Dvalishvili, and the ongoing feud between Rampage Jackson and Wanderlei Silva, there is no shortage of intriguing storylines to follow. Fans tuning in to watch the event live will be treated to a showcase of the sport's elite talent, as well as the opportunity to witness the unfolding of these high-stakes narratives. Whether it's the technical striking battle between Pereira and Ankalaev, the clash of styles between Dvalishvili and Sandhagen, or the continued fallout from the Rampage-Silva rivalry, UFC 320 is shaping up to be a must-see event for any MMA enthusiast. So mark your calendars, set your alarms, and get ready to witness the next chapter in the ever-evolving world of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. UFC 320 is sure to deliver an unforgettable night of action and drama that will have fans talking long after the final bell has rung.
Ankalaev is very tough. I just think Poatan at that night was not 100%.
He said he was 40.
I don't know about 40, but everyone felt the guy was not feeling. On the beginning I thought he was kind of like afraid of the takedown. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I saw his defending takedowns. He didn't let go. He didn't pull the trigger. And then eventually he started speaking about it, that he got a little sick when he went to Australia. Then he came back. He was not feeling well. I just think this guy now, he was burnt out too. Like he was a star, bro, just traveling everywhere, working a lot. I said that before. I don't think he was 100%, and I think if this guy show up 100%, he'll knocked out Ankalaev.
Man, you know how good that would be for MMA?
I think he will. Insane. For the channel, for Moicano gonna be here, 2 videos a day every day.
You're gonna stream this event, aren't you?
100%. You crazy?
Right. Thanks for watching MMA Unleashed. Smash that like button, drop your fight picks in the comments, and subscribe so you never miss the next war inside the cage.